Welcome to the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast.
Every week, they talk about the Vancouver Canucks with a fair amount of nonsense thrown in.
Sure, they're never the first with the news, nor the best connected, and definitely more off the rails than on.
But they've been talking puck the longest, and that counts for something, right?
So strap in for the longest running, best mediocre Canucks hockey podcast.
It's C4 with Chris and Anna.
Hello, Anna. Hello, Craig.
Oh, formal today. Hi, Chris. Hi, Craig.
I think
Good
I said that
morrow.
last week too.
Good
think.
Ian. I don't know.
I
I
don't
just
remember.
it seemed formal for some reason.
Well, I mean, I normally say hi. You're right. I just said
Yeah.
hello today.
Salutation.
I'm shaking things up. I guess. I mean, we should be sup, Anna. Sup, Craig.
What's up, bruh?
Sup. Yeah. Oh man, the positivity will be flowing big time
Yeah.
on this podcast.
We're so positive all the time.
Yep, we are. So I was talking to a coworker who asked me, how am I handling, life as a Canucks fan? And I'm like, surprisingly positive right now. I'm like, my co-host on my podcast pointed out to me that we are now sort of at an inflection point where we're talking about leading the race to last and what have you as Canucks fans. And I'm like, if it wasn't for the Vancouver Goldeneyes, we probably would have, no need for any form of pessimism on the show. And that's not a knock on the Goldeneyes. We have faith that they might be able to figure things out in the 9 games I think they have remaining and somehow squeak into the playoffs. I don't know how the Canucks can blow it at this point, Anna.
I clearly have faith. Like, people think of me as a negative person, but I just committed to the Goldeneyes playoff package, so
Ooh.
I'm so
Look at
committed.
you.
I mean, it was funny. I looked at the price and I was like, that's a lot of money. Probably won't have to pay it. So,
Oh, okay.
may as well. Well,
Okay,
yeah, who knows?
So is it a best of 7 in the P-Dub or best of 5?
I can't remember. They did explain it in the email. I've already forgotten.
You were like, sold.
Sold, sure.
Okay. Yeah, you'd think it being a podcast covering the Goldeneyes, we would know stuff like this, but no, we're far from professional. I mean, looking back of the dumb stuff we've said and or done as a podcast in the, 13, 14 years we've been around, we ain't going to start becoming a professional podcast now.
Right. Yes. It's best of 5, and because
Okay.
there's only 4 playoff teams, it basically goes semi-final, final, and the top seed gets to choose their opponent for the semi-final, which is the sort of interesting thing that the P-Dub has going for it.
Oh, so it's not like seeded. It's like you choose. They can choose like, oh, we match better against number 2. We're going to take on number 2.
Yeah, so it hasn't worked out super well. As far as I remember, both first seeds have lost their semifinals. I know for sure that Minnesota, the current Cup champions, went in 4th and last place in the playoffs and won. So who knows?
More you know.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, this week's episode, we're going to see how far we can go. Last week we did pretty well, but I had an experience at the Vancouver Whitecaps match. I don't mean that in really a bad light. It was a tough match to watch. The Whitecaps are channeling their inner lack of creativity, a la the Vancouver Canucks. And teams have figured out, you just, have the low block and then get that goal, park the bus, and walk away with a result. But it was the light and sound that kind of got to me. I had earplugs in, so the sound, once those went in, it was fine. But like strobing lights and what have you, that was hard. And then I went and, busted my butt doing house cleaning and stuff today when I probably should have been, paying attention to the fact that I could, hey, like you get the precursor of a headache where you can feel your heart beating through your skull. You ever get that?
No. I
Well, I
can
do.
feel my heart beating a lot when I'm sleeping, like when I've had too much to drink, and then I wake up in the night and my heart is like hammering because my body's clearly like trying to get rid of all the alcohol. That's
Okay.
what
Well,
being in your
okay.
30s is.
Yeah. Well, I can. So for me, I can feel like generally it's like the tension or whatever, and I can feel the bump, 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 and that's just a sign that I need to recognize. Today I didn't, and I'm sort of paying for it now. So that means our episode may be a little bit shorter, depending on how far I can go before I, pass out, and hopefully not in excruciating pain.
Hopefully not.
But if I were to
So,
pass out, Anna will carry this show forward.
well, Chris has revealed that he's home alone, so it's either me or the cat that's
Mhm.
calling emergency services.
Well, it's a good thing we're on camera. We're going to recap the week that was for the Vancouver Canucks, the week that was for the Vancouver Goldeneyes, and we'll talk a little bit about the week that will come for both teams. But as we are apt to do, let's get into the week that was in Rewind. So we'll kick things off with the Vancouver Goldeneyes because you know what? I look at it this way. They have a chance. And they did what they needed to do Wednesday night when the New York Sirens came in to town. I'm sorry. I don't
It's
know
fine.
how
It's just
I'll
funny
ever remember to
that's
say
cemented.
Sirens.
That's fine.
But
We'll
yeah,
be
it was
okay.
5-2 victory.
Ooh.
We got to see the return of the Flying V in the post-game celebration.
Yeah.
If your name was Anna, you may be on the score sheet. The problem is there's names not Anna on the score sheet, which upset this Anna significantly.
Well, I just thought it was fun. I mean, just when the trade came through, however many weeks ago that was, pre-Olympics, that we had acquired a new Anna to add to another Anna that we already have on the Goldeneyes, plus Manon. And like sidebar, if your last name is McMahon, imagine calling your kid Manon. But anyway,
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go off the rails here. You will point out names where, like, man, if your name was this, why would you do that? There
Manon
could very well
McMahon?
be
That's
some.
crazy.
There could be some familial meaning. You
Yeah,
shouldn't
I'm sure
discredit
there
or
is, but I mean, yeah, I'm quite judgmental with that. Like, I once had a neighbor, and her name was Cherry, and she took her husband's name, which was Wood. If I was like, I wouldn't be naming myself after a tree, but that's just me. I'd keep my own last name, I think.
So, like, if you were to marry, I don't know, someone by the surname Banana, that's just a non-starter right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never changing my name anyway, but yeah,
Okay.
that's for sure. But yeah, we actually got two Annas in the trade. That's right, Anna Meisner and who am I missing? Anyway,
Well, there's
I
Anna
feel bad.
Sagadi and Anna Shokina, and I can't remember which one
Shakina,
was the
yes,
original.
yeah, and then Anna Sagedi, I think, is a local kid, if I remember correctly, which is nice. First goal of I think a pro career, but certainly as a Goldeneye of the season. I'm kind of saying that because she looks incredibly young, but a lot of them do. So, and we're old now. But yes, very cool to see people that it's not the common names on the score sheet. Sarah Nurse did not score a goal. Hannah Miller played a great game but did not score a goal. So yeah, Anna's power of Anna. Unfortunately, the power of Anna also extended to the Sirens because Anna on their team scored too. But what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, you can only, slow down Annas. You can never stop them. When you look at this game, though, the Goldeneyes came out knowing what the assignment happened to be in the first period and did everything in their power to end the game 20 minutes in. They outshot the Sirens 12-5. Many of those 12 shots were of the stellar quality. The fact that they got 3 goals against the Sirens, 3-1, I wouldn't necessarily say That's all she wrote. But going into the intermission, it left really no questions as to what Vancouver needed to do to finish this game up. So credit to the Sirens for coming out in the second period and making a game of it. They got their second goal and last goal for those keeping score at home. But Vancouver then returned the favor in the third period with a goal from Teresa Vanisova? I'm still trying to
I don't remember.
understand.
I think I've said it 10 different ways, so.
Well, the problem for me is like when you're watching the broadcast, you hear different people say it differently.
That's the thing. And all her teammates call her T, and I remember thinking, oh, like, that's a shame. They're not using her last name and, like, on a nickname and stuff just because it's a European name, but I haven't been able to say it. So that's a great question. That's the thing with we're not getting the sort of local flavor yet with media. So I'm not sure.
I want to point out, like, watching sports on Global BC, they definitely cover the Goldeneyes and speak to the games. They're, I'll be very frank, of the local TV affiliates, they're really the only one who does. But I mean, they're also one of the only ones that still has a dedicated like sports broadcast team or reporting team. I don't know if CBC Vancouver has someone doing sports coverage these days. I mean, City, it would be Sportsnet people, but they don't include sports in the broadcast. And then CTV is pretty much Bell. They do all their sports broadcasting out of Toronto with the Toronto Sports Network. So,
right.
For shame.
Yeah. Media is hard, especially in Canada, especially sports media. But yeah, good game. I thought, like, Sarah Fillier, you can't stop her scoring apparently, so I can't be mad at that at all. Yeah, like I say, the secondary scoring was particularly impressive. I'm still concerned that Sophie Jakes, a defender, is one of our top scorers, but I guess as long as she keeps scoring, then maybe we don't have to be worried about that.
I know we've talked about distributed goal scoring as being a thing that the Goldeneyes are lacking. They've slowly started to, I guess since post-Olympic break, spread that love around a little bit. But as long as, to your point, the goals are getting scored, does it really matter who?
No, quite.
Kristen Campbell could be scoring all the goals for all I care.
Yeah. Obviously, Kristen Campbell had her two. She continues to be the one and only goalie playing post-Olympic break. I think all the games are too important for them to go to Kim Newell. To even give her much of a break, but we'll see what happens on the road trip here. I would expect they're waiting for Mashma to come back.
That said, before the road trip, they did have one additional game at home, taking on the Frost, who rolled into town. And much like you and I had suggested, this was going to be the tougher of the two games. The Frost are a good hockey team with some distinct personalities on the ice.
Yeah, that's for sure. So obviously this was the first time Minnesota Frost came with Britta Curl, who is one of their players, very outspoken. She has previously kind of found herself in controversy due to her social media activity. She apparently attempted to clear the air in an interview with Haley Salvan, who's usually I kind of respect her work quite a bit. So I was kind of disappointed for that interview. But yeah, since then she's partnered with a very anti-trans organization. I think her feelings are kind of quite clear. And Goldeneyes fans made their feelings quite clear by booing her every time she touched the puck. So I was very proud of that.
I just want to call out that the Pacific Coliseum, the staff, are very progressive in how they allow signage to be
True.
shown. Like you have the Vancouver Canucks staff at Rogers Arena who confiscate plain paper bags, and then you have the Pacific Coliseum staff who allow for fans to express their displeasure with the likes of Berta Curl and the opinions that she possesses. Like,
and
it's not something you see too much of in the professional sports world, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of interesting. I think we discussed before about the when Maya was on about the ice signs, anti-ice signs getting confiscated in the US, and kind of PWHL said this isn't a league policy, it's up to each arena to decide. And maybe it's a Canadian arena, especially one in BC, they kind of reflect the values of their society, and they do a good job with that. I mean, it shouldn't be anything controversial to hold up a sign saying, trans lives matter, whatever, that kind of similar sentiment. But you can't imagine that kind of thing getting into Rogers Arena or anything challenging any of the players' political views.
And there would be some people
close.
who would tell you, no, but there are people well, they didn't bring those signs into the stadium. They made them there. Because if you've not been to a Goldeneyes game, you can go and make your own sign. They have stations. Well, let's say they had something like that at the Rogers Arena for a Vancouver Canucks game. I can assure you so much as say that coins fall heads more often than tails.
Yeah.
And that would be deemed too controversial. And not only would your sign be confiscated, there's a good chance you could be given the heave-ho.
Totally. I mean, and that's why I massively respect the people that have gone to Vegas games with clearly, smaller signs, maybe like Believe Survivors, to protest the Carter Hart signing. That's a big risk. So I really applaud those people. But the Goldeneyes fans for sure did their job. Unfortunately, not everyone on the Goldeneyes did their job. It was a frustrating game for sure, I would say. Just the Goldeneyes' inability to either score on a power play, though that's not entirely fair, but in general, and they cannot keep out their penalty kill also really struggles. So it was a kind of infuriating game to watch, I have to say.
Yeah, the two Frost goals, there are three, but two of them were on the power play. One of them was in an empty net. If you kill one of those power play goals, your favorite player, Manon McMahon, ties it up, right? And it's
beautiful goal.
Yeah, and any team's game at that point. So to your point, to be one of the better teams in the league, your penalty kill has to be better. You have to produce more offense than that, one goal late in the third period. But in fairness, I mean, the two teams were somewhat even strength, throughout the game. It just happened to be special teams leaned heavily towards the Frost.
Yeah, and I will say the Vancouver special teams maybe should have got more of an outing. Sarah Nurse took a lot of physicality, let's say. Minnesota is kind of known for that in general.
Well, she drops her stick a lot.
Yeah, she drops her stick a lot. But yeah, she's the best player on the team. Obviously she's going to get targeted, but the reffing wasn't as game changing as obviously the Ottawa game, but still left a bit to be desired.
But the Vancouver Goldeneyes, they have to head out onto the road for a decent spell as they continue their journey with still a mathematical chance of making it into the playoffs. They take on the Boston Fleet on Tuesday, March 24th. And then they take on the Toronto Scepters. Is it plural? I don't know.
I
On
think
Sunday,
so,
March 29th. I'm sorry. I question it because I'm so
yeah. Are you
used to
questioning
the
everything?
singular. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally, what is it, 6 or 5 or 6 out of 8 is singular. Yeah. Scepters, I mean, such a weird one, right? Like, what a weird name choice, but I guess so is Goldeneye, so yeah. Glass houses, stones.
I think we follow up on our pledge from last episode to singularize everything. So you have the Frost, the Fleet, the Victoire, the Scepter, the Charge, the Siren, the Goldeneye, and the Torrent.
Yeah.
Make it easy. Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, tough
So
week.
Boston, second overall. Toronto, fourth. Now, arguably, Vancouver would need to chase a team like Toronto. Like if there were games to be won, that would be it. The
Totally.
struggle is that if they don't get points out of Boston, they're giving up room to the New York Sirens, who are ahead of them by a 3-point win. The Ottawa Charge, who are ahead of them by 6 points, and then Toronto by 7. So like the challenge is that they have to beat those teams they're chasing, the Scepters, Charge, and Sirens, while at the same time not potentially giving up points to some of the better teams. And
yeah.
I look ahead at the schedule and I'm kind of wondering, like, it's not like mathematically done, but they play the Fleet twice, the Frost again, twice. Like these are the top two teams in the league.
That's the problem with an 8-game league. 8-team league, you will be playing those top teams more often. And obviously Boston are super strong this year, but I mean, Goldeneyes took them to overtime. That was a home game, and it does seem to be a big factor. Unlike the Canucks, the home game factor does seem to be big for Vancouver. So, yeah, it's hard. You just got to take it one game at a time, because if you look down the barrel of the whole rest of the season, it looks scary. It doesn't look good, but we'll see.
Yeah, and on the note of this way the schedule sort of breaks down, technically speaking, Vancouver has more home games than away games, but one of those home games is not at home. They just happen to be the home team in Edmonton. So,
right, there's another game in Edmonton. Yeah,
anyway,
I've had a lot of conversations about where the expansion locations will be. So, yeah, Edmonton is definitely a flag in the ground. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not.
Have they been selling out in Edmonton?
I don't think so.
Or getting close to?
I don't, okay. But it's just like, I mean, obviously Toba Tour has been a bit of a metric previously. DC obviously had a really successful one. Denver and Detroit did well, but
how many? There was only one game in Vancouver, was there not? One takeover tour, or was there two?
It said it was just one game, but it was so
Edmonton
successful.
Has had
two,
a bunch, right? Yeah, so
2 Goldeneyes games. I should say.
Yeah, well, but the thing about that is that if they're selling out, then I could see Edmonton as to being, or getting close. Edmonton being okay, we got to come there, but I can't say I've been paying attention to the attendance outside of the Pacific Coliseum, which is still getting a good crowd night in, night out. Yes. But back to the point, 2 games. What say you, Anna?
Beat Toronto, lose to Boston.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I would like to say that Vancouver is going to steal a point out of Boston. I'm just not
they
certain.
Did at home, but yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, if it was away is a lot harder. And if they I think it's just having seen bits and pieces of the game against the Frost, tough team, played them tough. Can't imagine it's going to be any easier against the Fleet. So, and they have to beat the Scepters. If they don't, arguably, again, math still says they have a chance, but that's the only thing that will be. So
Yeah,
saying,
and I'm trying to find an update on Mash Meyer's fitness. This is hard because I mean, trying to find injury updates on PWHL players. Obviously, media's growing, but it's still not fully there yet. But yes, upper body
tell
injury.
Lachlan to do better.
I mean, I'm literally on his X right now. Friend of the show, Lachlan. Shout out, Lachlan. I saw him at the weekend and we had a good chat. And that until I realized I was sitting in the wrong seats. Because I was in my friend's seats. And yeah, I had stolen a seat from a child and his dad.
Naughty. So that's the Goldeneyes. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks briefly. So the Vancouver Canucks have been doing what they've been doing well, losing. But in the 3 games that they had, they chose to actually have a pretty fun one with the Florida Panthers rolling into town. Florida was not good. Vancouver was. Well, okay. I mean, Vancouver, they're like not good, but have potential to be good once in a while. I mean, they got special teams goals. Petey scored 1 and then scored another. And
isn't that crazy?
Almost got a 3rd.
I know, but isn't it crazy that that's his first multi-power play goal game? When I heard that.
Ever? Oh, I didn't hear that.
That was on the broadcast.
Wow, that's nuts.
I hesitate to call it a stat. It's more just like a fact. But, yeah.
Well, I know it was like his first goal in like 7 years or something like that. I mean, it's been rough, and it's his first multi-goal game in like 22 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's been rough. Obviously, it didn't translate to anything immediately in the games following, but Canucks didn't get up to much of anything against Tampa or St. Louis on the weekend. Yeah. Sorry, I'm really distracted because I realize I'm looking at our rundown and it makes no sense because everything is out of order. So sorry about that. You must be very confused. You're working with it. But...
let's be honest. I'm normally confused. So this might actually be helping me because it's like balancing my level of confusion out. The Florida Panthers rolled into town. Bobrovsky, not so good as a goaltender this season. Long story short, Vancouver gets win. Had themselves a good time. Lots of high fives. Fans seem to be, vibing. And we talked about this a little bit last week. The crowds that are coming out to Canucks games are distinctively different, and I think that has to do with the fact that there's just significant accessibility to tickets. Secondary market, you pretty much get the ticket given away almost. I mean, no, you're paying money, but it's not like it once was where you had to mortgage your house to go and watch.
Yeah.
San Jose Sharks and their doldrums show up.
Yeah, exactly.
But there were no other games for the Vancouver Canucks the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I will say that I was kind of surprised at the sort of ferocity of media reaction after the Tampa game. I thought it was kind of fun, and I'd much rather see a game like that where Canucks had some jump in them, even if they were significantly outmatched, rather than and seeing a team like Tampa, who just are an offensive juggernaut, no getting away from that, rather than the game against the Blues, where I almost died of boredom, seeing a mediocre team coming to town who can just...
Talking about, you got to see Jordan Binnington find a way to lose a shutout.
Yeah, which I love. I love that, don't get me wrong. And I love Logan Mailloux being the cause of the Canucks scoring a goal, but I was dying. It was so dull. Whereas the Tampa game, not that I'm just tuning in to watch other teams be good, but I thought it was an okay game. And
well, I think the reason why people at that Tampa beating of the Vancouver Canucks. It shows this disparity between really good team in the league, really bad team in the league. And it's actually been a long time since we could honestly say the Vancouver Canucks qualified as a really bad team in the league because, again, mushy middle, mediocrity, that was the space we lived in, and we owned the living daylights out of it. But we also remember when the Vancouver Canucks were a really good team in the league.
Yeah.
And I have said on this podcast many, many times, I would much rather see an exciting game where the Canucks lose than a boring game that I fall asleep in where the Vancouver Canucks win. And that's not to suggest I don't want the Canucks to win games eventually. But it's the style of game. To your point, St. Louis beating Vancouver, that game sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Thankfully, I didn't get to watch a lot of it because I was on my way to a Whitecaps match. Because, hey, when the Blues roll into town, you know you're starting at 4 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah. I just think, like, the bro line, I don't know if we're supposed to say it differently because it has 2 dots on the O. Bro or something. But that got on the score sheet against Tampa, plus we saw the Kevin Lankinen side.
Maybe it's the brew line.
Brew? Kind of like Iron Brew?
So like Thomas Mueller. So would that whatever there's the 2 dots then make the O longer? So ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Liam Ogren Canadianizes his name to Ogren, but I don't know. I haven't heard his mom say his name or something that might give us a better clue. But you got to have the 2 dots, I think. Yeah, let's book her on the pod.
Could you imagine? So, off the rails here. Some of our longtime listeners know that I used to have an esports podcast that covered Vancouver Titans esports team. And we actually had one of the players' dads join us for an episode. And we got to talk to him about how he supported his son through his career as a professional video gamer. And, that so cool. Might seem odd, but yeah, like he was really cool. Really enjoyed talking to him. It would be cool to have, like, I think, the parents' perspective, right? Yeah. Like, it's one thing to hear from players, but like, I don't know what it was like. Like, how did you support? Like, what was it? Like, it comes to hockey. Like, most parents will probably be able to tell you, we had to, hop in a car and drive out to who knows where for who knows when for these tournaments and what have you. And that'd be cool. But, I don't know any player parents to reach out to.
No, but it's an interesting idea.
Yeah. So, Vancouver 6-2 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning in a boring 3-1 loss to the St. Louis Blues. Again, I didn't watch this game. I saw a little bit of the first period before I was on my way into Vancouver. Now, I talked about it a moment ago. Why was this a 4 o'clock start?
Because they wanted Canucks fans to waste the first beautiful or the second beautiful day of the year.
So my dad, who's kind of pissed off it's a 4 o'clock start, he's like, well, it's because St. Louis is in town. I'm like, this doesn't help St. Louis. Like, I'm not like U.S. fans want afternoon sports. That's late for them at home. Obviously, maybe earlier than it would be if it was a 7 o'clock puck drop here in Vancouver. But like, Vancouver Canucks weren't going to be on CBC. Like, they were going to be on Sportsnet. That's the way they're playing. I don't understand. Like, TV dictates it to some respect. And I guess maybe US TV dictated that it needed to be the early puck drop, but that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the Blues are the biggest show in St. Louis, and if they are, God help them. But yeah,
baseball's not on yet.
Yeah, that's true. I hope they have something better to do.
And the Rams no longer are in
the
town.
City. Rather than watch that team. Yeah, that's a strange one. Is it just because of the Whitecaps game?
I don't think so. I never have I heard that the Vancouver Canucks or the NHL have looked at the MLS schedule or the Vancouver Whitecaps schedule and said, "Oh, we better watch out for that."
No.
As far as the Vancouver Canucks and
yeah.
the NHL concerned, there's no other sports teams in Vancouver.
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, the only people that I would imagine would kick up a fuss is the VPD, but I can't imagine they have much sway with the NHL either, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anywho. So for those of you who went into Rogers Arena late afternoon on a very beautiful day, I hope you got your money's worth. I truly do. You got to see Filip Hronek get angry.
He's always angry.
The cross-checking penalty late in the third period, I don't know. I mean, considering what gets let go in the NHL, like, he put his stick on him, no question. Was it a cross-check? I don't think so. Did it prevent like a goal scoring opportunity? No. Like, it was the weirdest call. But I don't know if it was him or it might have been Doc, but someone threw their stick after the game in the hallway as they're walking back to the dressing room. So, credit to whoever it was for showing a little emotion, losing to the Blues 3-1 on a Saturday afternoon.
I mean, sure.
Looking ahead the week that will be, the Vancouver Canucks have 2 more games at home. They take on the Anaheim Ducks on Tuesday, the Los Angeles Kings on Thursday, and then they're off to Calgary to have a battle of suck on Saturday night. What say you, Anna? Are there any wins to be had there?
I mean, someone's got to win the game on Saturday. There are no ties in hockey, so
I hope it's Calgary.
That's true.
Like, that's the. You know what?
Me too, but I don't
if the
have
Canucks want to win a game, let it be against the Ducks or the Kings, not the Flames.
But I mean, Ducks are fun, young, fast team, and Kings are scrapping for that last wild card spot. Do I think they'll make it? No, but yeah, they have something to play for. Calgary are just bad.
Not as bad as the Canucks,
No.
but bad. They're actually ahead of the Flames. Have moved ahead of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh,
so
yes,
but,
this is true. But I mean, yeah,
Vancouver
have
Canucks still have a 15-point lead on them.
Yeah, I was going to say Blackhawks, Rangers, Calgary, all on the same amount of points, but all 15 points ahead of Vancouver. So
no, 15 points behind Vancouver. Remember,
the Vancouver
Canucks are leading this.
Yes, of course. I swear to God, if Chicago get a first overall pick, I'll be so mad.
Yeah. So I was looking at was it Sportsnet that threw the standings up? I can't remember which network. And the Avs have clinched a playoff spot. Congratulations, Colorado. But they already have the little, icons up who's clinched a spot and who's clinched a division or conference. And then there's E for eliminated. The Vancouver Canucks still don't have their E. So what you're telling me is they have a chance to make the postseason.
Technically, it's true. Yeah. I find it another thing I found strange this week, the outrage about the Pacific Division. Like, yes, it's historically bad this year, but it's been bad for a long time. And unfortunately, that's just how geography works. Like, you can't just put all the bad teams, like, you can't even out the standings. Division? Yeah. But, like,
don't put it past the NHL to find another way to bring parity to the league.
Yeah, and find Vancouver a tougher travel schedule. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think they get a win?
Yes.
I'm going to say no. I think they lose all 3, but
okay.
You think they get a win?
I love your optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the more optimistic take.
Thing.
Yep. Okay. I say 2 points.
Like 2 ties, 2 loser points?
No. 0-0-2. Yeah.
Oh, you have them beating the Flames?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How could you?
I know.
How could you wish that upon us?
I don't
You're
wish
such
it.
A pessimist.
I don't wish it.
Such a pessimist.
Yeah.
Gosh, if only for my optimism. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to the C4 Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Anna, Chris, and Craig.
Take hitting out of the game. You can't hit anymore, so don't do it.
The unsportsmanlike conduct, I want to get an explanation on that.
No kidding.
Because how do you get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Plus interference. There's no interference there. He had the puck.
Now, Madison never ever did that before. Now, why did he do it? And that because he was mad.
Well, your early favorite for the Calder Trophy, that's for sure. Elias Pettersson, you might even say your early favorite for the Hart Trophy.
Just to get back to your question, Elias is going to play plenty. He's going to get a lot of power play time. And yeah, I'm concerned about our offense. We lost 200-point players, and we've got to find a way to score.
So half full, half empty. I mean, we've already touched on a bunch of different things here. But the one thing is, what do we need to see from both teams faux rest of the year? I mean, the typo may or may not have been intended.
Also, to be clear, that was the only thing in half full, half empty. The rest was meant to be in rewind. My Discord mobile version clearly had other ideas and just wanted to move it around. But yeah, main question, I think, is that. And yeah, obviously from the Canucks standpoint, just losses, L's across the board. That's what we want to see. But, we've got to have some, not optimism, but idea of direction. And I guess we would want to see stuff like chemistry between players, the continuing chemistry of the bro or brew line. Some leadership. If Philip Hronek's really going to be the Canucks captain this year, next year, God help us. Yeah, I want to see more of that off the ice because that girl gives us nothing.
Yeah, so Vancouver Canucks, you're right. I mean, they just need to lock down dead last to get the best odds into the draft lottery at this point. And give Vancouver Canucks fans something to cheer for. Leadership. I'm liking what I'm seeing or hearing from Brock Besser. I'm not entirely bought in that he will remain with the Vancouver. But, this goes back to when the previous core, and I guess there's been a few, but the, core of the 2010, 2011 team, that group had Kevin Bieksa, who when asked, would you want to go somewhere else? And he's like, no, I'm captain stays on the ship. And Kevin Bieksa, to his credit, was a Vancouver Canuck through and through until the team traded him. And he was willing to, okay, if you want to, and you get something for it, that's great. But I want to be here. I'm getting those vibes from Brock Besser. And you need that type of person on your team to show what it means to, with a crest on your jersey. I don't know his personality as being throw a C on his sweater type. Philip Hronek, you throw a C on his sweater. I think what his play on the ice translates well. It's the everything else off the ice.
Which I think
I don't know if that's his vibe.
It is important.
And to me, if you could mix a Brock Besser with a Philip Hronek, I think Brock could handle the off ice. Philip could handle the on ice, which reinforces my belief that now that you've traded Tyler Myers away, the only answer is to have alternate captains on the team.
Yeah.
And if you have to designate a guy to be the captain for face-offs or whatever, do that. But just run alternates. I don't see the pressing need to throw a C on a sweater.
100%. 100%. This is a rebuilding team. They have enough problems figuring everything out. I think if the vibes have changed, as according to Adam Foote they have, if the culture's shifting, that needs time to grow and kind of prove it to us is what I want to say, and we'll see what happens. Let's not rush it.
I'm old enough to remember Trevor Linden becoming captain, and I mean, people will tell you, I went from Stan Smeel to Trevor. It didn't. There were actually a series of captains over the course of a season before Trevor Linden got the C on his sweater from Stan. That transition was done purposefully because they wanted to have the team culture establish itself and the leader to sort of come out, though heir apparent was supposed to be Trevor Linden, and it ultimately was. I think that was a really good transition.
Bo
Then we
Horvat,
started
same
to
thing.
see like Bo Horvat from the Sedins. And like, if you think about like, where have all of the problems sort of developed from? It's when you have a captain who's sort of, we need one, let's slap it on someone's jersey. Now, the Trevor Linden to Mark Messier was not a slap a C on Mark. I think based on what I've read, Mark came in not wanting the C, but ultimately acted like he was. And so Trevor, to prevent the room from fracturing, gave it up, didn't solve the fracture. It still occurred. Eventually Mark's out and Marcus Naslund gets that C, but he also had players around him in the culture that sort of understood what Marcus could do. Marcus then transitions over to Henrik to Horvat. Horvat gets traded. Who gets the C slapped on? Well, I guess I left out Luongo in that mix. I'm so sorry. The Luongo bit I've forgotten. Slap the C on Quinn. Like, the whole slap the C on Quinn part makes no sense in my mind, especially now that we've heard that the team already saw or heard from his camp that he was wanting out. Like, why would you ever think that's a great idea to slap a C on a sweater of a player who's already saying they want to be here? Like, what type of message does that send? And I know it's desperation. They were hoping to try to like convince him to stick around, but
yeah.
And that's not knocking Quinn's play. He was the best player on the Canucks even this season when he was quite clear he had checked out.
Yeah. And just speaking on that, like, let's not rule out the possibility that we might need to trade Ronak next year. Like, they don't want to do that clearly, well, but like, we shouldn't rule that out.
And that's sort of what I was talking about with Besser. Like, there's no untouchables on this team.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just a mad thing. Like, I do think the captaincy is important, and just it looks bad if you're like throwing it around like this. Let's just let the dust settle here.
The one asterisk I'll put on the captaincy for the Vancouver Canucks is if they were to go and bring in a veteran on a team-friendly deal, like, to help set the tone for the kids, I could sort of see how a C could be on that type of player's sweater. But that's where you've maybe elected to go in other directions with Ronak, with Besser. And we're not trying to, I don't think you or I are trying to scuttlebutt the chance of Petey becoming a Seaman. Like, I don't think he needs that.
No,
I don't think that helps his game at all. Right? Like I actually think Petey would take responsibility as captain. I believe he would take it seriously. He would become probably a less bristly interview,
maybe,
but no, I think he would. I genuinely believe throwing a C on his sweater, he would be that serious in what it means. The problem is that's just more pressure, and it's already clear that the pressure and him don't really work too well.
Yeah,
like, I don't think giving him that pressure makes him a better player.
Yeah.
No. So let's skip that.
Let's skip that. Yeah.
Someone on social media was like, slap the C on Doc. And I'll be honest, that'd be kind of funny that, Drew O'Connor would get the C. But Doc,
I like him as a player.
He plays, he's like a Philip Ronak up front. I don't know. It's like angry little player that works hard.
Yeah. And I've seen his girlfriend's Instagram content. It's very funny. She's she's a breath of fresh air.
So
when
she is, and I like she
to other
she
Instagram
has her own like side gig knitting. Yeah. I will admit she discounted Canadian currency, and that hurts. In a recent video of hers.
Also realized she made something for Sidney Crosby, someone in Sidney Crosby's family, and she's described it as crossing enemy lines. And I was thinking, in my head, I was like, yeah, he does play for another team. Like, he plays for Pittsburgh, but I guess Doc used to play for Pittsburgh, so I think it's okay. Then realized she meant American-Canadian.
Yeah. Anywho, Vancouver Goldeneyes, what do they need to do the rest of the day? They got to win. Like, and I'm being too optimistic that they have a true chance at making the postseason. But they're like, they do have a chance. Like if they can string a few wins together, they're in the conversation to the end. Like, hey, if they go into this week and let's say they get 2 3-point wins, that's they're not they're not number 4, but they are close enough that they're knocking on the door, making the teams ahead of them sweat. And we've seen how the Goldeneyes can, have a night like they did against the New York Sirens, where where is this team night in and night out? It's nice to be part of.
Yeah.
As much as you and I are part of it.
No, and I guess for that to happen, what we need to continue to see is that improvement in secondary scoring.
Get all the Annas on the score sheet.
Yeah, the McMahons of the world, Gabby Rosendahl, I've been really impressed with, so I want to see her have a bit more attacking prowess there. And obviously special teams need to improve, like, massively. Mm-hmm. And I think, really, I don't know if Kristen Campbell can run the rest of the season.
Hey,
like,
don't discount Soupy here.
I love her, by the way, and I've been really impressed with what she's shown since the Olympics. I think she's the strongest backup in the league, but she's not Emma and Smashmeyer.
True, I miss Mash, but Mash is hurt.
Mash is hurt, and, like, I don't want to see her come back injured. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that in the long term, we need her.
Anywho, we'll be back next week. We'll actually have a really good understanding as to where the Goldeneyes lay. Like, if they don't get points out of these 2 games, it'll be a tough spot for them. And if the Vancouver Canucks do get points out of these few games, not the end of the world, but that makes them, winning last overall a little bit harder. Anna, any final words of wisdom for our listeners this week?
Well, kind of shockingly, earlier today, Abbotsford Canucks were eliminated from playoff contention, which is only shocking in the fact that Vancouver Canucks are technically still in playoff contention. They've had a really rough season with, obviously, with Canucks taking up a lot of their players to the big club.
Their players?
Yeah. So it's been a rough year, but I think Manny's still leading a really good group there, and he's a really good leader, and hopefully one day he might be a leader for the big club as well.
One can dream. Words of wisdom for me is, if a parent were ever to tell you to go and have some fun, but not too much fun, understand that when they say not too much fun, they're just being silly. My daughter finally cracked at me saying that and told me off. In fairness, it was very, very unfair of me to say that she couldn't have too much fun, because really, how can you have too much fun? It just occurred to me that I didn't have my camera on, so you couldn't even see me. You could just see my picture.
I couldn't.
Oh, well. You may not know this. We had some technical difficulties at some point during the episode. I'm just saying.
We've hit it seamlessly.
Yeah, we do. We're professional in that regard. Unless you noticed, and then you can tell we're not professional whatsoever. If you reach this point of the show, we need you to help us, because the technical issues are definitely related to the fact that we need $1 million.
Yes, please.
That means you need to buy us a lot of pints. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/C4podcast, buy me a coffee, otherwise known as
Buy Me a Pint.
You too can pledge $1 million and support the C4 Hockey Podcast. No, if you throw a few bucks our way, they go and they buy the pints when Ann and I get together. And if you support us on a monthly or annual basis, that helps us keep the lights on, pays the bills, at least mitigates the bill payments. Ann and I cover the rest. But the more that you can help us, the easier it is for us to continue to do what it is that we do. You can find our website and almost all of our episodes that are in existence at c4podcast.com. We're on all the social medias, at the C4 Podcast on X, at the Real C4 Podcast on Threads, at c4podcast.com on Blue Sky. Anna and I are pretty much found everywhere too.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt. I realized that I did want to say something a little more serious just before we finish. And that's just sending thoughts and love to the family of Jessica Pierce, who involved in writing about Minnesota Wild, huge advocate for the Minnesota Frost as well. And her children died in a tragic accident at the weekend. From all I've seen on social media, she just seems to be the biggest personality and a great loss to, the world of hockey. So our thoughts are with her family and friends.
Thank you for sharing that. And with that, we're out.